Sometimes, the moments that change our lives forever come when we least expect them, late at night, in the cold, when the streets are quiet and the world feels heavy. This is the story of a single dad named Evan, a man who had already lived through more storms than most people ever do, and the night he saved the one person he never thought would need help, his own boss. It all began the day Evan walked into the parking lot behind his workplace and saw something that stopped him cold, something that could have destroyed someone's entire future if he hadn't acted fast, and what happened the very next morning left him speechless. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to support our channel Kindness Diaries, where real stories of kindness remind us that compassion still matters in this world. Evan was a single dad to a 9-year-old girl named Lily. She was the only reason he kept pushing through long shifts, double shifts, and the kind of exhaustion that never quite leaves your bones. Life hadn't been gentle with him. His wife had passed away 4 years earlier, leaving him to raise their daughter alone. Money was tight, time was tighter, but Evan never complained. Lily gave him strength he didn't know he had. He worked as an assistant at a small but growing marketing firm. His boss, Claire Bennett, was known for being sharp, fierce, and intimidating enough that most employees kept their distance. She wasn't cruel, just focused, always rushing, always stressed. She expected perfection, and for that reason, almost nobody ever saw her crack. But that night she cracked. Evan had stayed late finishing a last-minute report when he heard laughter and shouting outside near the back alley behind the office building. It was already past 11 p.m. He could have walked away. He could have gone home to Lily, who was asleep with Evan's sister watching her. But something made him check. And that's when he saw her, Claire Bennett, the tough-as-nails CEO, stumbling on the sidewalk, holding a wine glass she must have taken from some event, her shirt stained with red blotches. 2 men in suits stood nearby, smirking, phones out, recording her. Claire was trying to yank her arm free, trying to tell them to stop filming, but she could barely stand straight. Evan's heart dropped. He knew instantly what those videos would become: viral clips, office gossip, internet mockery. In a single night, Claire could lose everything she'd worked her whole life for. Evan didn't shout. He didn't ask questions, he just stepped forward. "Hey," he said firmly, walking straight toward the men, "that's enough. Put the phones away." The men turned, ready to argue, but something in Evan's eyes, tired, determined, unwavering, made them hesitate. One scoffed, the other muttered something under his breath, but both slowly lowered their phones and walked off, annoyed when they were gone. Evan turned to Claire. Her eyes were glassy. Her voice was small, so different from the woman he knew at the office. Don't tell anyone," she whispered. "You're okay," Evan said calmly. "Let's get you home." But Claire could barely stand. So Evan did the only thing he could. He lifted her gently into his arms. She didn't resist. She didn't argue. She just leaned her head against his chest like she suddenly didn't have the strength to pretend anymore. On the way to her car, she mumbled apologies, half-formed sentences about pressure and mistakes. Evan didn't judge. He just listened. He buckled her in, drove her home safely, made sure she had water by her bedside, and left after checking that she could lock the door before he walked out. She grabbed his hand weakly. Please don't let anyone know," she whispered. "You have my word," Evan said. Evan expected awkwardness. He expected Claire to pretend nothing happened. Maybe she would avoid him. Maybe she would pretend she didn't remember him saving her. But when he walked into the office the next morning, something unexpected happened. Claire was waiting by his desk. Not in her usual CEO posture. Not stiff, not cold. She looked tired, humbled. "Human Evan," she said softly, "can we talk in my office?" His co-workers glanced over, whispering. Being called to the CEO's office first thing in the morning usually meant trouble. Evan felt his stomach twist, but he followed her in. When she closed the door, Claire didn't sit behind her desk. She stood in front of him, hands clasped, eyes misty. "I remember everything," she said. "And I want to thank you. You saved my career last night. You saved my dignity." "You don't have to," Evan began. But she shook her head. "No. I do." There was a long moment of silence. Then Claire asked gently, "Why did you help me?" "You could have just walked away." Evan thought for a moment before answering. "Because everyone breaks sometimes," he said. "And nobody deserves to have their worst moment turned into entertainment." Claire's eyes softened. She sat down slowly, looking more vulnerable than Evan had ever seen her. "Do you know how rare that kind of kindness is?" she asked quietly. "People only help when they know they'll get something in return." Evan shrugged. I didn't do it for anything, but Claire wasn't done. She told him that she'd been carrying the weight of the entire company on her shoulders, navigating losses, investor pressure, personal issues she'd buried for years. The night before had been her breaking point. Evan had seen her in the one moment she wished nobody had. And yet he'd protected her. She swallowed hard. Your daughter is lucky to have you. Evan blinked in surprise. How did you? You talk about her sometimes without realizing it, she said gently. With so much love in your voice. For the first time, Claire smiled. It wasn't a CEO smile. It was real. I want to do something for you, she said. Evan tried to decline, but she lifted her hand. No, listen. You've been working overtime for months. You're dedicated, loyal, and you showed more integrity than people twice your salary. Starting today, I'm promoting you to team supervisor. Higher pay. Better hours. More stability for you and your daughter. Evan was speechless. He had never expected anything. He had never helped her for a reward. But the kindness he chose to show, quiet, private, genuine, had changed everything. Claire stood up and extended her hand. And Evan, thank you. Truly. I will never forget what you did. And I won't pretend. Evan walked out of her office that morning with tears in his eyes, not because of the promotion, but because kindness had come full circle in a way he never imagined. Sometimes, helping someone in their most fragile moment doesn't just save them, it saves parts of yourself too. It reminds you that humanity still lives in small choices, in late-night decisions,